Okay, we do have a quorum. Motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Mr. Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Who was that second?
I'll let Mr. Anders, I think that's what Mr. Anders, but either one is fine.
Okay, very good. Motion to adopt the agenda. The next item is approved. Any discussion or adopting the agenda? Okay, very good. Motion passes. We will adopt the agenda. The next item, Mr. Ando, anyone here from Midlands Transit Riders Association?
I do not believe we have Charles Gonfett on the line.
Okay, very good. Move to the next one. Call to the public. And no individuals signed up?
We do not have any individuals signed up.
Very good. All right. Next item, number 5. I'm going to ask Mr. Ando to lead us off with this special presentation. Is Colonel Leaks on the line?
Yes.
Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Sorry, one second. That's fine. I'll try and talk loud. Colonel Weeks, first and foremost, I want to thank you for the services that you have provided to the Comet. Since November of 2016, you've been a very valuable board member representing Richland County. And with your recent election as the chair back in July, you've been a very wonderful person to assist us in the guidance of leading the authority, and also providing great guidance in supporting staff, supporting fellow board members on ensuring that we're doing what we're supposed to do to effectively move the citizens of Richland and Lexington County. And you've also been very instrumental in learning about our operations and helping ensure that the Comet remains successful and sustainable. So on behalf of the Comet, we have prepared a plaque for you, which we'll deliver to you, and it reads the following. In appreciation for service to the Comet, Colonel Roger Leach Jr., member of the Board of Directors and 2020 Board Chairman, November 2016 to November 2020. So again, I want to thank you for your support, your dedication to the Comet, and your time. I believe Mr. Huggins has some words he'd like to say as well.
And working with you as vice chair, I really do appreciate the passion that you showed while you were chairman, and I'm very grateful for working with you, and I know other board members are also. So I'm going to look forward to seeing you soon, and we're going to get the flag out to you, but once again, thank you. Would you like to say something, Colonel Lee?
Yeah, I'd like to say I really thank the Comet staff and the board for making this presentation to me. And from my heart, I want everyone to understand that I am still a Comet supporter. And if you ever need me to help do anything, just let me know. I'll be here. I want to also thank the staff and those board members who reached out to me on a personal basis, expressing their concern and sorrow that I wasn't reappointed by Richland County Council. Mm-hmm. You know, that means a lot, and I thank you for that. But I also want you to understand one thing. I did my best, and it's time for me to go into retirement, and I've already learned how to enjoy full retirement. I'm having a good time being retired. The time had come, and now I'm enjoying my retirement. Thanks, everyone, and goodbye.
Well, thank you. I'm pretty sure all the board members, if you would, give them a round of applause, please. Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now we're going to agenda, item number 6. Is there a motion to pass the consent agenda?
I so move.
I second.
Okay, moved by Ms. Mood and seconded by
Ms. Dickerson.
Is there any discussion? Consent agenda passes. Motion periods, Mr. Ando, I don't believe we have any motion periods at this time.
There's been no motions on, members have motions.
Very good. All right, as we go to item number 8, as the chair report, I just want to thank, can we have someone mute?
You've been muted. To unmute yourself, press star 6.
Everyone on the line, please make sure you're muted.
Please make sure you're muted, please. Sounds like someone's in their car, windshield wipers, I believe.
That's it, thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay, as a chair report, I just want to thank staff for working so closely with me over the last 30 days. And as far as the report, I'm going to move forward with the intermodal update.
Yeah, we can hear you, Paige.
I can hear you, Paige.
Hey, sorry about that.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you guys, sorry.
I can hear you.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, go ahead.
Okay, very good. We're going to go to B1, the COVID report. I would ask Mr. Deschamps to elaborate on that for me, please.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and to the board. Just to update you on COVID-19 process and what we've been doing. We just completed our December volunteer COVID-19 testing, and all of the staff members that were tested, all the results were negative. So we continue to focus on and do the things that we can to make sure that our staff is as safe as possible and they get to go home safely to their families. We continue to operate at Saturday enhanced service, basically following the governor's emergency declaration. As long as he's extending those, we'll continue to operate as we currently are. We continue to enforce our COVID-19 policy throughout our fleet, from making sure that our riders are required to wear masks when they utilize our system. We're also just making sure that social distancing is taking place, not only in the office, but again, out throughout the system and meeting the needs of our ridership that's out there. Also, too, we noticed that the city of Columbia extended their mask wearing requirements through February 13th of 2021. So there's a focus there from the city throughout the city of Columbia. And like mentioned earlier, we will continue to enforce our COVID-19 policy also. Going forward, we will continue to offer volunteer testing to our staff. We have scheduled January 5th and 6th. That's our next scheduled testing. And we also have February and March on the book, where we work with Lovelace Family Medical that come to the site here to perform the testing. Also, too, through DHEC, we have a kiosk at Comet Central that's they're doing testing Wednesday through Saturday, and we have the hours posted for the public and our riders. So hopefully that's a way that we're showing the public and the importance of what we think about safety, but also giving our ridership, since it's a high, that has a high propensity for COVID-19, this is a way to develop a partnership with DHEC that we can focus on safety out to our community. Also, too, here at the administrative building, RUTP Dev is in the process of getting another temperature check station. They're looking at that for our maintenance area. We do have currently temperature check at the main entrance and also at our employee entrance and also up here on the second floor. So this is something I guess I worry about every day because I know the importance of what we do, but also the importance of what our staff and our operators do. And I want them to come to an environment that's safe, but more importantly, I want them to go home safe because I think that's something that we cannot take lightly, and I don't take lightly. And I just appreciate all of the staff upstairs, downstairs, for this focus that we've had over the past, I guess, 6-8 months. It seems like 6 or 8 years. But I think more importantly is I think what we're challenged with in the next coming months. So hopefully we can continue to support our staff and our operators where we can continue to have good results, but more importantly, to just keep everybody safe and make sure that they feel like they have a safe environment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. DeChamps. The next item is intermodal committee. Intermodal committee did not meet. We will be meeting after this meeting today, and we will be giving the board an update. Ms. Mood, for Service Committee.
There's no report from the Service Committee. Our scheduled meeting was not held because of lack of a quorum, so no report.
Mr. Smith, Finance.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Finance Committee met last Wednesday, December 9th, discussed a number of different things, some of which are elsewhere on the agenda, so I don't want to, overstate those. We've already addressed one in the consent calendar, which was the rescinding of the action regarding C&G, based on new information that we have that staff was able to get. Then also later in the agenda, we will deal with change order to our RAPDEP contract regarding startup cost budgeting. So I won't address either of those right now. We did also look at, we got an update from Ms. Ransom on the status of the banking RFP. Like most things this year, the banking RFP was sort of slowed down, delayed because of our need to respond in other ways to the COVID pandemic. There was a difficulty pulling together a committee to review the RFPs, and then once they did that, the responses really kind of produced varying results with respect to pricing, and they felt like they needed to go back to each of the 6 respondents to the RFP to get more clarity. So that's kind of where they are now. We anticipate the banking RFP moving forward pretty quickly after the start of the year. We also had a discussion about our current fare-free status. The Finance Committee initially, when we went fare-free, said that staff needed to come back to us by the end of the year with an update, and particularly with an eye toward restoring fares. The Finance Committee looked at kind of where we are currently, broadly with the pandemic itself, but also with internally where we are, and decided that we wanted to hold off on that discussion until the start of the year. So we had a brief discussion, but took no action on either the banking RFP or the status of the fare-free framework that we're currently operating under. I think that's it from finance. It's a productive meeting, but we'll deal with the rest of it later in the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Ando, Executive Director, report.
Yes, in the packet, pages 23 through 27 is a summary of the staff activities during the past 30 days. One big thing I do want to mention is that starting today, we did start doing free COVID-19 testing at Comet Central. That's available Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays as a test. It's to help our riders that may not have an opportunity to get tested because of job or other social life issues. So we're hoping that this will be a benefit to Comet users. And then pages 20 to 29 has the community outreach report that we need to provide per board policy number 6 that summarizes all of our marketing and community outreach efforts. And then pages 30 through 34 is a summary of all the board motions from 2017 to present that are still outstanding. Lastly, we are continuing public outreach on the Reimagine the Comet project, and we anticipate presenting an update to the service committee and as well as the board in January on the feedback we've received and start the discussions on the concepts that the board would entertain considering. And that addresses the motion related to providing a long-term service plan in Richland County and developing a service plan in Lexington County. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. All right, that brings us to item 9. We will be going to executive session for receipt of legal advice. Asking all board members and advisory board members to remain on the line. And I would also like for Ms. Heiser, Ms. Baker, and Mr. Nicholson to remain on the line also. So all others will be asked to leave the room or exit the phones. Thank you. Get a motion to move to executive session. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, very good. We go into executive session. Thank you. Okay, we're coming out of executive session. Let it be noted that there was no votes in executive session. I now make a motion to come back into open session. Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. So at this time, Mr. Anderson, I believe we have some motions on the table.
Yes, sir. Thank you for recognizing me. First, I would like to make a motion for the CMRTA to enter into the interim standstill agreement presented today by our legal counsel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, for the sake of, I'm gonna ask Ms. Jernigan to do a roll call, please.
Mr. Huggins?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Horatio?
Yes.
Ms. Gleason? Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Burgess?
Yes.
Representative Howard?
Yes.
Ms. Mood?
Yes.
Dr. Morris?
Yes.
And Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay, unanimous.
Did you, I didn't hear you call my name,
I'm sorry, Ms. Dickerson?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Second motion, Mr. Anderson.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to direct our legal counsel to extend an invitation to RATP Dev to speak at a special called meeting of the Board of Directors of the CMRTA. It would also include the executive director.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Mr. Horatio, second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Huggins?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Horatio?
Yes.
Ms. Gleason? Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Burgess?
Yes.
Ms. Dickerson,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Ms. Mood,
Yes.
Dr. Morris,
Yes.
and Mr. Anderson.
Yes. Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion not really sure the kind of motion it is. I'm motioning that the board is affirming its desire to resolve all contractual differences with RATP Dev through good faith negotiations.
Second.
Second by Ms. Dickerson. Any discussion?
That was Miss Dickerson who seconded.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Huggins,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Teresa,
Yes.
Ms. Gleaton, Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. Burgess,
Yes.
Ms. Dickerson,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Ms. Mood,
Yes.
Dr. Morris,
Yes.
and Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Okay, that moves us to item number 10. Mr. Smith?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. The Finance Committee, as part of our agenda last week, took a look at a potential change order to the contract with RATP Dev with respect to the startup costs for the contract. Essentially, sort of where we were was that a good portion of the initial total startup budget was not paid because there was a difference in the original budget line items and then the expenses claimed for startup purposes. So the Finance Committee heard a request by RATP Dev to amend the budget to reflect what actually were their startup arrangements. So we heard in particular the reasons behind two key variances in those startup costs. You know, in the initial budget, for example, there was anticipated a number of different positions that were sort of W-2 employees. Instead, RATDev claimed a lot of their startup costs under one interim transition manager. Similarly, there was a big variance in IT costs around startups. So we heard RATP Dev's explanations for those variances, and the Finance Committee unanimously recommended to the full board that we adopt change order number 5 to the contract, which amends RATP Dev's startup budget. And so the motion, let me just, give me a second. I want to make sure I am honoring the Finance Committee in the way that motion was laid out. Motion is to approve change order, and this is my motion to the full board. My motion is to approve change order number 5, which amends the original startup expense budget by line item as discussed in the Finance Committee last week, excluding duplicative expenses and expenses otherwise covered in the fixed and variable portion of the contract, and that an amended budget that has come before the board today not exceed the original startup budget of $338,984.55.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Jernigan, would you please, roll call, please?
Mr. Huggins,
Yes.
and Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Teresa,
Yes.
Ms. Gleaton, Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. Burgess,
Yes.
Ms. Dickerson,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Dr. Morris,
Yes.
and Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
No.
Motion passes.
And Mood says yes too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, next item, Ms. Mood.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to defer this item to the January meeting, please.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Jernigan?
Mr. Huggins,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Teresa,
Sorry, yes.
Ms. Gleason, Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. Burgess,
Yes.
Ms. Dickerson,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Ms. Smoot,
Yes.
Dr. Morris,
Yes.
and Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
All in favor? Aye. I'm sorry.
Aye.
We didn't get a second.
Any
I
discussion?
second.
Okay.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you, everyone.
Happy holidays, everybody.
We're doing intermodal.
Dickerson. Yeah, Derek has.
Derek, we're doing, intermodal.